hopefully you don't have smoke on your menorah. And we're going to go to the phone line right now and say good afternoon to Candice Knight. Candice, you probably hear this in your sleep, right?
Yes, that's one song that definitely haunts me throughout the year. Sure.
Well, you know, I mean, I got to ask you. For those who don't know, Candice Knight is joining us. She is the lead singer of Blackmore's Night and has also worked with Deep Purple and another one of my favorite groups. And I got to get this queued up here in the background, too, because this is another classic. But, you know, and she's married to Richie Blackmore of Deep Purple. Does Richie play that, you know, in his sleep?
I think Richie has been, you know, it's funny. He wrote the simplest song, so he said for him it was more important that basically the mailman could whistle that tune. So, and he always says, you know, it helps to pay the bills, which is fantastic, of course. You know,
right.
You rely on that. But then when you listen to his body of work that has gone over decades and decades, and you hear some of the intricacies that he's done, and the fact that he's not only a guitarist who can play 4 chords, but, you know, he's also this amazing composer. And,
right.
You know, he plays so many different instruments, especially in our band, Blackmore's Night, which we've been in for 25 years this year. He does hurdy-gurdy, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, mandola, mandolin, nickel harp. So, you know, but it always comes back to those 4 chords.
Yeah, I know. Well, this
we're
is
not complaining. Everybody loves it. So.
This is another one of my favorites, and I know you've performed on stage with Rainbow for many years as well. This one never got the attention in the U.S. that it should have, but this is another great song, which is since you've been gone. But, you know, as you mentioned, Blackmore's Night has been around for 25 years. I just had to hear a few extra seconds of that one here.
No, me too. I was listening to behind you. I love Rainbow. I absolutely love those songs.
Any excuse to sneak that in there. It's been around for 25 years. You've just re-released a Christmas CD, actually, that has 2 Hanukkah tracks on it, the same one, both in a live and in a studio version. This is kind of the CD that keeps giving, right?
That's right. Yes, it's the our perennial favorite. And it's funny because we've released it a couple of times, but each year we just add a little bit more to it, a little bit more. So every year we rediscover some new songs and we kind of change them around, and we say put them through that famous Blackmorizing machine where they go in one way and then they come out a completely different version, and we add our own little spin to everything. So yeah, everybody seems to really love this, and it reaches new people every single year. So it is a gift that keeps on giving.
So you grew up in a Jewish home. I'm assuming that's where the idea to do Ma'oz Tzur came from, right?
Yes, that's right. Of course. As a matter of fact, we had Mom over. She's listening right now. She's so excited right now. She called me about 5 seconds before you did, and she said, "I'm listening." So I know that Mom's on it.
Well, hello, Mom.
Hello, Mom. That's right. And my brother and sister in Charlotte. But we gather every year for the holidays. And Mom is here. She's about 20 minutes away from me, so she came over and she made her famous matzo ball soup, which we're so lucky we live next to, not that far from Mom, because we get to enjoy that matzo ball soup that Mom makes. And my daughter's pretty much addicted to it. No matter who else makes it, they don't make it as good as Grandma can make it. So
of course.
But yeah, so I was brought up in a Jewish household, and as a matter of fact, some of the other songs that I've written throughout the years, my grandmother, I feel like we all have a very, very similar history when you have the Jewish roots. But I wrote a song called "Gone with the Wind" on our second album back in 1999, which was all about her escaping from the pogroms over, in Russia. And so there's, how the winds were burning, how when she came through Ellis Island, they had to basically reinvent her identity because she couldn't speak the language, and crazy, amazing amounts of strength that are through all of our roots, throughout all of us, throughout the decades and hundreds of years and thousands of years, actually. So, we all share very similar stories, and it's so nice that we're all bonded together.
Yeah, and I'm sure she never would have imagined that you'd then go back and tour all over the world. Obviously she came over by boat in Ellis Island, and here you are flying around the world and jet-setting, getting up on stage and sharing your music and sharing her story.
Yes, exactly. That's right. I'd like to think that my grandma, if she was still around, would be very proud. I know I lost my dad a couple of years ago, and he was just amazed at the places that we performed. A lot of historical castles, a lot of historical venues throughout the world that have been around. Castles from the 12 to 1500s, or we went back to Poland, to Wieliczka in Poland, or Krakow, or so many Russia, so many places, and we're able to bring this music to people, and they're really just loving it and enjoying it. And it's great. What I always say is I love to look out there and see that families enjoy it. So they bring their little children, and then it's usually the dad who's been following Richie for decades and knows that Blackmore name is going to be Blackmore Brilliance no matter what he is playing. And then the women that they're married to now seem to like the softer female vocals, and then the grandparents come too, because it's simply melodic music. So we really make it a family show, and the families come out and enjoy it. And no matter where we are around the world, we're able to see them looking out and just with the smiles on their faces, and we're bringing so much positivity and joy out there that they always leave smiling. And I think that truly is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's been hard the last year and a half. I don't know if you're back out on the road yet, or you're waiting for things to cool off, but it's got to be hard when you're used to getting up there and performing, night after night and several nights a year for weeks on end, and you don't have that to feed off of. How have you been dealing with that during COVID?
It's very difficult, especially, I've got my 2 kids that are keeping me running around, so they're keeping me very busy.
That'll help, yeah.
Especially with Richie, he's been on the road, if you think about it, since he was 16 years old.
Yeah.
And he's a lot older than that now. I don't know if we're going to say the number, but he's been around the world a bunch of times. And I know that he was saying, the last time that we toured, and again, looking out and seeing these thousands of faces, smiling, singing the words we're singing, that we've written, or the melodies that coming along and singing the songs that we've written. Our last show was at a castle venue, a 12th century castle, the moon rising overhead, and the church tower of the clock was chiming in the distance, and there were belly dancers on the side that were just getting into the music, and just thousands of people singing along to everything, and it was so beautiful. And after that, he said, "Wow, we've done so much touring." He said, "Maybe next year, maybe we'll take a little break." I had no idea how powerful his words were.
Wow.
I'm going to make sure he puts a good thought behind anything that comes out of his mouth from now on, because we're going on 2 years of not being able to tour now. And you're right, we did a couple of live streams from home, just, one in the midst of the crisis when it first started, I guess back, we did it in May. And we streamed and just got, it was right in our house, and we were able to get people tuning in from all over the world, and they were giving us requests they wanted to hear, and so that made it really special, just taking requests from everybody and just letting them see inside our lives, and doing it completely without any of the lights and the big sound and the other 7-piece band that we've got behind us, our minstrels. It was just me and Richie sitting here just playing for people. So we did that twice during the pandemic. Also just did a very, very small fan holiday show, which we do every year. We usually ask people to donate some funds to some local animal charities to keep them going through difficult times in the holiday season. And, but yeah, it's been very tricky. We haven't actually gotten back out on the road, and we're still kind of tentative about the whole thing with all of these new strains coming out, and it's just such a tricky time. And of course he's older, so we're a little concerned getting back out there, too soon. So we're holding off on things, and he's absolutely going stir crazy in the house.
Yeah, I can imagine. I follow a band out of England that's a prog rock band that just did 2 weeks touring England, and it was the first show they played in like 700 and some odd days, and they actually asked their fans to contribute towards an insurance policy because they couldn't get anybody to cover the tour in case it got canceled.
Wow, and that's a very real threat right now. I mean, it used to be, look, if you went on the road and you didn't feel good, you take some chicken soup, you take some hot tea,
right?
And you just, maybe some Robitussin or whatever, and you get back on the stage, and you see it through, and then you get off the stage and you go to bed and you rest and you hope you're better the next day, or you get a doctor. And these days, if you come up with symptoms, and it doesn't matter if it's you or the bass player or the lighting guy or whoever it is. If one person falls, it's a domino effect. Everybody has to quarantine, or everybody falls together, and it will stop the whole entire tour. And if you're in another country and you can't get back home, I don't know. We're just so, there's so many what ifs out there right now. It's very, very scary. So it's a very strange time. So, we're looking at some tour dates coming up in the future. Hopefully, maybe in the springtime. We're keeping our fingers crossed. We were hoping, it was going to happen in the fall. But so far, things are still still not, as secure as we need them to be. And maybe we'll do some more live streaming, but we'll definitely have that out on the website so people will be able to see that.
Which is blackmoresnight.com, BLACKMORES night.com. We're talking with Candice Knight, who is the lead singer of Blackmore's Night. They've got a holiday CD out that, by all means, if you know somebody who loves holiday music, again, there is the Jewish tracks on there of Maoz Tzur, but maybe you're looking for a holiday gift for other people as well. You can order it on the website, or it's available at Amazon. I'm sure it's available for download in many places as well, legally, iTunes and Spotify. And I want to mention to you, when you say you're looking forward to getting back out on the road, that I'm speaking to you about 5 miles as the crow flies from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where Richie Blackmore and Deep Purple are enshrined. So I hope you'll come to Cleveland, and I would love to go down to the Rock Hall with you and or Richie, and maybe see it through your eyes as well, because I've been there a number of times. Haven't been in about 2 years, but I don't know if you've made it to Cleveland to get to the Rock Hall since Deep Purple was inducted.
No, I haven't been there since then. And actually, my brother went to Miami of Ohio, so
okay.
I'm very familiar with Ohio. And we used to in Long Island, New York, up here. So
right.
we would take that road trip down there every year for my brother. And beautiful state. We actually just absolutely love coming to Ohio. So and the fans have always been amazing there. So hopefully, as soon as we're able to get back on the road, that is definitely going to be one of the stops that we do. And I'll come in especially to see you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say we'll keep in touch, and we'll make sure that I'm going to hold you to that. How does and by the way, my brother-in-law went to Miami as well. So
oh, no way. That's so funny.
I have never actually been down to Oxford, but it's supposed to be beautiful.
Oh, the campus is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Isn't it funny, when you're in that state, there's so many things that you don't,
right.
That you wind up not seeing because it's right there.
Exactly.
Everybody kind of looks somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but you definitely should check that out. It's absolutely gorgeous.
So how does a young lady from Hauppauge, Long Island, get involved with a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer? I guess at that time a future Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, and join the band and then form a band with him. What's your story on one foot, as we say?
Just unlucky, I guess. No, I'm kidding.
No, wait a minute.
See, I have that English sense of humor. That's probably what drew us to each other.
Yeah.
I actually, it's a very funny sort of rock and roll Cinderella story, I guess, if you can say that exists. I was going to school up here at New York Tech in Old Westbury. Absolutely have always loved music. It's in my blood. It's in my history. It's in the roots of my family. And so what happened was I always wanted to be around music. I just never thought that I would be the one performing it on stage. So I would be a closet poet. I'd be writing lyrics and, not really sharing my work with other people too much, except for maybe a friend or two who would be able to play some instruments, and they'd ask me for lyrics, so I would contribute to them. I had my own radio station at New York Tech in Old Westbury, and I was interning at the largest rock and roll radio station out here on Long Island, which at the time was WBAB, and they played all classic rock. And the only thing I really knew of Richie and his bands were what I had heard on the radio. I was actually, believe it or not, more of a fan of Rainbow, I think, than Deep Purple. And his band had called up, or I guess the management called up and asked our radio station if we wanted to play a charity soccer match. And so, of course, our guys went there, but, with a lot of, I'm sure it's present company excluded, but honestly, the WBAB DJs at the time were not the most athletic of people.
No, I'm a I'm a 50-year-old Jewish man, and no, there's a reason I spin discs and
there you go.
And I get
these guys, I'm telling you, it's like they were good at pushing the buttons, like pushing the faders back in those day, and good at ordering pizza for overnight shifts and stuff like that. We could, all that stuff was great, but as far as running up and down a field, not so much,
Sadly,
so,
I can relate. Yes.
So ironically, we went and they brought the guys, all the DJs and stuff, and Richie showed up in true Richie form. It was him who loved English football, our soccer, and I think Roger Glover was another person from the band who was there. And then he stacked his team with all ringers, most of them European, Italian. And you know how the Italians got, they're basically born with a ball on their foot. I mean, there's no way that these guys were going to lose, and they annihilated us so badly. I was on the side just hoping, cheering my team on, but did not do very well on that at all. And afterwards, I went over to ask him for an autograph, and I kind of just snuck my face in front of him so someone could take a picture. And as I was leaving, he sent a roadie through the crowd to ask who I was and to ask me to meet him later on. And I met him, and we wound up just talking all night long. And it was just amazing. He always says it was almost like just meeting an old friend. Like, it was so comfortable, and just we connected so deeply, and we had so much in common, even though our paths were so different. He was worldly and a lot older. I was very home and family based, and I was very education based and hell bent on going to school and doing everything I needed to do to get my degree. And Richie had left school at 16 and followed this rock and roll path. And we were just so different, but at the same time, we connected on a mind and a soul and a heart and a spirit basis, and we became very close friends. And after that, it was like, I guess, any other natural relationship. The friendship grew, and then anytime he would come back to the States or back to Long Island, or I would go up and meet him in Connecticut, and it grew into something else. It grew into romance, and after that, he brought me on the road with him. I moved in with him in '91. I met him in '89. He brought me on the road with him in Deep Purple for their what was to be the last tour of that lineup in 1993. And then he reformed Rainbow in '95, and he asked, when the singer was having a difficult time coming up with some lyrics, he asked me if he could, go through some of my lyric books, or if I could write for him before they flew in a professional songwriter. And, I basically saved him the money of flying in a professional songwriter. I said, sure, I'll give it a shot. And I wound up writing for him, and it turned out to help me. I actually co-wrote 4 of the songs on the Stranger in Us All album in 1995, did the backup singing, went on the road with him at that point. And then ever since then, he and I, while the other guys were doing their songs or their tracks in the studio we were in Brookville, Upper Brookville, Massachusetts at that point, while the other guys were doing their tracks, he and I would be sitting by a raging fireplace up there in nothing was around in Massachusetts, and really like on a farm area. And the snow was coming down, and this big raging fireplace, and he had the acoustic guitar, and while the other guys were banging it out doing the rock stuff, he and I would be looking at the fire and just sitting there and writing songs for ourselves, just acoustic melodies, and revamping some songs from hundreds of years ago and adding new lyrics, new instrumentations to them. And out of that labor of love, really, that escape from what the rock and roll world had become to him at that point, I think it really became more of a job instead of his love and his passion. It became more friction based. So when he started to kind of go away from that, he really wanted to do something more melodic and go back to songs that he grew up listening to, some Renaissance type songs or songs that were based in the 12 or 1500s, and we revamped some of those, wrote some original tunes, did some cover songs, and did it for ourselves. And a record company heard them and wanted to put it out. That was in 1997, and we've been traveling around the world, basically growing the fan base ever since then. It's basically the fans kind of tell 2 people who tell 2 people who tell 2 people, and it's really word of mouth fan based, and it's a beautiful thing. It's exactly how we would want it to grow. So it's not one of those things that becomes trendy or fashionable or also has things like that kind of take over the world and are in your face so much that they do really well, but then they're gone. We kind of steadily grow every single year, and we touch people's hearts, and we become very close friends with the fans that we've made, because we know we're all on the same sort of journey through this world, and we all have the same beliefs, and it's just beautiful, and we love what we're doing.
You know what they say, Candice, when it's beschert, it's beschert. Right? When it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Candice,
and I'm learning more
sorry.
Yiddish, as by the way, I just joined a Yiddish Facebook page, so now I can finally understand when my mom is saying some stuff to me. I remember my grandma, gay schlafen all the time, and everything was genug, and so it's so funny now. I'm like, now I get to like, I get to like look at all of this stuff and see, I'm revamping all of this stuff in my brain, which is great to revisit it.
I'll tell you what, you and the band have a year and a half to work on this, and in June of 2023, because I think we have our act for 2022 if it happens, but in June of 2023, learn some Yiddish tunes, and we'll bring in Blackmore's Night Yiddish edition.
That sounds great.
We do a free concert here every year in a big outdoor amphitheater that a lot of big name acts have played. I don't know if you guys have ever played Kane Park here in Cleveland Heights. It's actually a jewel in the Cleveland area because it's a municipal suburban stage that seats like 1,500, and they bring in, everybody. Bella Fleck is here literally every year, and Judy Collins, all the way up to Tori Amos played there a few years ago. Weird Al played a couple of years ago. They bring in big names, and then every year we do a free Yiddish concert there. So now that you're in the Yiddish group, we'll get Blackmore's Night to do some Yiddish songs, and we'll bring you guys in, and smoke on the water in Yiddish.
Yes, we're going to have to work on that. Watch out Yiddish Facebook page when I start putting the lyrics up there and asking for translation.
Hush can become Shah. And it's perfect.
I love it. Oh, my God. Oh, I've got work to do. I love when you give me homework. This is perfect. And you give me time to do it, too. This is going to work out very well. I can feel it.
Fantastic. Candice Knight, I want to thank you for joining us. The album is called Winter Carols, and there's some new tunes on there, some originals, and Candice has added her lyrics to some traditional tunes as well. It's I don't want to say it's an annual re-release, and as you said, it's enhanced, but it's not a brand new album, but there's brand new material on it. It's been completely remastered, and it's available. You can go to Blackmore's Night Music. Let me make sure I got that right. Blackmoresnight.com. Blackmoresnight.com to order the CD. There's holiday songs, just winter general songs. There's some Christmas music on there, of course, and as we mentioned, Ma'oz Tzur, which we're going to hear in just a moment here. Candice, I want to thank you so much. I thought we were only going to do a few minutes, and I've had such a great time. We've done like 25, and I could do another 25. But,
I just wanted to let you know really quick, not to interrupt, but of course to interrupt. I just want to let you know there's also CandiceNight.com, which Ma'oz Tzur is playing live from Minstrel Hall, which is our home, so everybody is able to see that. We've got the videos out on YouTube, so there's a live a YouTube link that they're able to see on that. But also, I wanted to let you know, which I think is kind of important for this for this audience, is that all of these songs, although when Richie first asked me to do Christmas songs with him, and he loves, he's born Protestant, he's changed into spiritualist, so he's kind of like seeking and searching, which is a beautiful thing for him. But what he loves this time of year, it's the lights, it's the family, everybody around, and sitting in front of the fireplace, and that warmth and celebration. But so when he first started asking me to sing these songs, being Jewish, I wasn't comfortable singing some of the words because I felt like a lot of the lyrics kind of separated everyone out from enjoying these songs. So what I did was we changed them back to most of these songs actually were written prior to a church getting involved and changing the words and making them incredibly religious. We changed the words back so everybody now can enjoy it, and not one person can feel that they're excluded from singing any of these songs. So I just wanted to let the listeners know that too. It's not there's no more separation between the religions as far as these songs are concerned. We brought them back to the original point of what music should do, which is include everybody. So you get to enjoy these songs again for the holiday season, and really see them through different eyes, and be able to sing along to them without feeling like we're separated from some of these beautiful melodies, which started out as melodies prior to a church getting involved and changing them. So just
that's beautiful. I love that, and to return it to its original form. That's an incredible tribute to the beauty of the music.
And not feel like we're excluded at all. We're all in it together. So I just wanted to let you and your listeners know that too.
Fantastic. Well, I hope you do make it to Cleveland soon, and that we get in touch, and let's talk again in the future. Candice Knight from Blackmore's Night, and various different stints with Deep Purple, and
Rainbow, and Blackmore's Night.
yeah, Blackmore's Night, of course, and hopefully they get back out on the road very, very soon. Oh, there we go. It took a second to wow in, but never a hush when Candice and Richie take the stage. So, Candice, I want to thank you again. Again, the album is available, CandiceNight.com, Blackmore'sNight.com. It's called Winter Carols. Candice, it's been an absolute pleasure. A Chag Sameach, a happy Hanukkah. And anything you want to say quickly about Ma'oz Tzur as we get ready for it?
No, it's just a very different version than I think what people are normally used to hearing, and I really just hope everybody enjoys it. I want to wish everyone a happy Hanukkah, and to you as well, Sean, and thank you so much. We had so much fun today.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Candice. My pleasure. Thank you. Candice Night from Blackmore's Night.